of Twizzar.net. Thank you for taking the time to dive into Twizzar with us. My name is Heiko, and with me today is Toby. He is a developer on Twizzar. Together, we would like to introduce Twizzar and show you what it's all about. Hi, Toby.
Hi.
Before we jump in, a few points about the webinar. The webinar gets streamed live on LinkedIn and on YouTube. You can always ask questions in the chat on YouTube or in the comment section on the LinkedIn live event. We will answer the questions at the end of the webinar. Before Toby gives us a live demo, I would like to give you some more information about Twizzar. We all know that unit test development has many tedious and time-consuming parts. For a simple test of a method, you have to manually write a huge arrange block to provide all the dependencies of the system under test. Even if you don't want to configure dependencies, you have to provide them. Another point is, depending on the mocking framework, you have to fight with complex and hard-to-read Lambda statements. With Twizzar, we try to solve exactly these problems. Our vision is to reduce all the tedious steps of test development so that you can write tests faster and easier. Our goal with Twizzar is that Twizzar is easy to use, that the tests become readable, that Twizzar has a lean API, and that the test development gets supported by an intuitive UI that is seamless integrated into Visual Studio. So what does Twizzar consist of? Twizzar consists of an add-in, which provides the intuitive UI, and a library that provides the lean API. So enough of theory. Now Toby will show us Twizzar in action.
Yes, I want to show you one use case of Twizzar. So I have here a test class. So we can see we have here our delivery service test, and we have here our class that we want to test. So we have the delivery service, and we want to test this delivery method. And to begin with the test, you need to set up your delivery service, so your system under test. So for this delivery service, for example, we have here a constructor that takes 4 services. So in a normal case, I need to set them up here. Maybe they also have some dependencies that I need to set up, so this will get even longer. And then I need to provide all these services to our delivery service. So what I have installed now is we have installed Twizzar. You can see it here. We have the using of it. So I can now write here new item builder and can provide here the system under test that I want to test. In our case, this will be the delivery service. Now this item builder uses the builder pattern. So if I write build here, I get the delivery service returned from the builder. And as you can see, we have this here. Before I have set up Twizzar here, it looked like this. And if we have a closer inspection of this, we can see we have here our system under test, and our dependencies are up here. So what we have here, what we like to call here is we have here a bottom up. We have here a bottom up architecture. So what we do here is we first need set up all our dependencies, and then we can set up our delivery service. But if we use Twizzar, we can use here our item builder. And now, because I have installed the Twizzar add-in, as you can see here, I it provides me here a button, and if I press this button, then the Twizzar UI will open. And as we can see here, we have here our dependencies, and up here we have our system under test. So if you look at it now, so we have our system under test, and we need to look down to see our dependencies. So we call this then the top-down approach. So our goal with Twizzar is to provide you with a top-down approach. So the first thing you want to configure is your delivery service and not all your dependencies. So I don't need this anymore. I only need my delivery service. And if I need to configure one of the dependency, I can open the UI and I can see it down here. And to call this deliver method that we want to test, we need a string potion name, and we also need a destination of type iDestination. We can also create this iDestination with Twizzar. So we can write here item builder iDestination dot build. And now we have set up our arrange statement so that we don't have any compile error anymore. If I now run this test, we can see that our delivery service here is initialized, and these 4 services, Twizzar will provide the services with a mock. And we also have here our destination, which is also set up as a mock, because this is an interface, and here we have we call a class. So we have a class, and all the constructor parameter will be resolved automatically by Twizzar. And if we now debug into this deliver method, we can see we are now in the delivery service, in the deliver method, and here's our destination, and here we have the implemented code. What we want to test is we want to test what happens in this send method. So we only want to test this path and not the other things. But if we now step into this storage check available method, we can see that we will be in the else block here and not in this block here that we want to test. So we need to set up this storage service that the check available method returns true. With Twizzar, that is very easy. We can here open our UI. We can also open it with a shortcut. We can here see, we have here the constructor, and this constructor has the storage service. And in the storage service, you can see this storage service, this interface has 2 methods, a check available and a take. And now I want this check available method to return true. Then I can write true here, press enter to confirm. And now we can see that 2 things happen. First, our test class gets partial, and we don't have an item builder anymore. We have here a class that Twizzar generates for us. So if we now go to our solution explorer, zoom in here, we can see here we have here our delivery service, but we also have nested a second class that Twizzar generated for us. And then if we look into this class, we can see we have here this delivery service builder, which is also which extends the item builder. So this is also an item builder, but you can see here the configuration that I've done in the UI. So what we have here in Twizzar, we call this a path. So a selection path. So here we want to select first, we want to select the constructor, our delivery service, and then we want to select from this constructor, we want to select the constructor parameter storage. And from this storage service, we want to select the check available method. And this check available method, if we have more overloads, we also need to specify that the parameter of this method is string. And after we have selected what we want to set up, at the end, we can then, if I now remove this, we can call here, for example, we want to set the value to true. And then we have set up this storage. Now, if we debug our test again, we can go into the deliver method. We have here the storage, check available. If I step over, we can see we will enter this if branch. But we have here this ingredient. This should be an iPotion, but it's null because we have not set up this take method of the storage. And yes, we will get an exception. So for this, we can do the same thing. Can open the UI, go into our storage, and here we have the take method. Now we want to set up this take method that it returns us an iPotion. Here I see all the options that I have. I could use the I ingredient, an ingredient, a potion, or iPotion. In this example here, I want to use the iPotion. So now this one will be provided with a stub of iPotion. If I debug this test again, can now enter this deliver method. You can see we have here a iPotion. And now we get into the send method, and this potion will be put in a package, and this package will be wrapped, and this package will be sent with the partial service. So this partial service, if you look at it, it is also a service that is provided here by the constructor. The next thing we want to do, we want to check if this send method was called from the partial service. So normally, if I set up my dependencies up here, I have, for example, a mock of a partial service, and then I can verify the partial service here. But because Twizzar sets up everything for us, we don't have this variable here. So what we can do, our build method has an overload where I can provide a context that I want him to return. And what now happens is when Twizzar builds this delivery service, it will collect all information, so all dependencies that were built by Twizzar, and will save them in this context. And now if we have this context, we can use it down here. If I write it correctly. And on this context, I can call the verify method. Now I need to provide him with a selection path. So we also need to select what we want to verify. So what I want to verify, I want to go to the constructor, and on the constructor we have seen we have this partial service. This partial service has a method called send, and I want to verify this method. And now it also needs to know what exactly I want to verify. I want to verify that this method was called once. And we can see now this is ncrunch that shows us that the test is green. If I write here called twice, then we can see that this test will fail. If I zoom in a bit, we can see we have here a twisted verification exception, and it says to me that it expected that this method exactly has 2 invocations, but only one invocation was performed. And we can also see that he expected the send method, and the parameters down here we can give him any parameters. So we have not specified if we need exactly one parameter or what parameter we need. What we now can do, we have this destination that will be provided with the send method. So we also want to check if it is the right destination. To check this, we can use here the where destination is method, and we can provide a destination. Now the test will fail because I have here written a 2, but what we can look at here is it says us the parameter destination should be equal to our mock that we provided him. And if I write here 1, then this test is green again. So the send method has 2 parameters. The first one is a package and the second one is a destination. So we also want to check if the right package was created by our delivery service. To do this, we can use a predicate. So I can write here package. I also need here to specify where package is. Package, and then I can say we have this package. This package was wrapped by our delivery service. I can now unwrap this package. Then I get back all my items in the package. And I can, for example, check if something is in this package. If this package is not empty. You can see the test is green. If I now invert this one here to check if the package is empty, you can see the test will fail. Now we could also check if the right potion was wrapped in this package. To check this, we have set up our potion here in the storage. We have set the take should return a I potion, and we go into the delivery. This is this potion that is returned here of type potion, and then it is called here from the send method, and it will be wrapped in this package. So to check this, we need to access our potion. To access our potion, we can write here. We can write here that we want our potion. Now what we want to do is we want to write context dot get. And now if we can also look here, we have here our constructor storage take. So we need to enter here constructor storage and take. And the nice thing here is I now get an I potion, but the storage take method will return us an I ingredient. That is because we have set up here that the take method returns an I potion. If I now would return here a potion, we can also see here that now it's an instance of a class and not a stub. But what we also can see is when I hover over potion, that it will return a potion and not an I potion. So now we have I potion again, and I now can check here, not any. I want to check if this package contains a potion. Test is green. Now he's green. And we have written successfully a unit test with Twizzar. One thing that I can also show is when I go to the send method, we have here our package. When I now remove potion, so now I have an empty package, the test will be red again. So this is working.
So thank you very much. You are done, Toby?
Yes, I'm done.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, looks very interesting. And the test looks super clean. I mean, now it looks a bit difficult, but we test a lot in this small test, I think. So this test would, with another mocking framework, it would be huge and quite difficult to configure. There are no questions right now. So if you have any questions, write them into the chat. Until then, I have a few questions, so maybe you can answer them. So we saw that you created the builder with the Twizzar UI.
Yes.
And we saw that a lot of configuration is now in the builder class. In some cases, it makes sense to do the configuration into the unit test itself. Is this also possible with Twizzar?
Yes, this is possible. What I can do here, I can use the same syntax that I have in the custom builder. So I can write here with. Now I can also do a path selection. And I can, for example, say constructor, storage. We have the take method. And I can say here, for example, value. And then I can provide him some potion that I set up here, for example. This would also work. What's also important to say is what I configure here has priority over what is configured in the custom builder. So
it means I can change, I can do like a general custom builder and change some parts of the configuration in the unit test itself.
Yes, exactly.
Nice. And yeah, another thing is, yeah, we saw the UI, which is quite nice. And there we can do a lot of configuration, which is like some static configuration, like initialization of a class or some bool or something like that. But sometimes I need delegates or functions or something like that. Is it also possible to send delegates or functions to Twizzar so that they get used in the configuration and the test?
Yes, this is also possible. So we can use our with syntax again. And we can, for example, use the constructor, then the partial service. And now we can say here, we have here our send method. And if I now call value, I can provide a delegate. So the partial service expects from me a package, and it expects from me a destination. And now if I'm behind here, I have a pay, and this P will be a package, and the destination here is a destination. And I can do what I want behind here.
I see.
I can also do a callback if I want to. And then, yeah, I can provide a callback, then I don't need to provide him a return value.
So, and if you configure a callback, the callback gets called whenever this part of the code runs. In this case, I guess it was the send method.
Yes.
And when the send method in the system under test gets called, the callback gets raised. I see. Nice. Yeah, one more thing, but I guess you showed this before. Are there shortcuts, and can I use the UI on the whole Twizzar add-in without the mouse?
Yes. So I can, if I'm on the correct line, then I can use a shortcut to open the Twizzar UI. What I can do, I can now press arrow down to get into Twizzar UI. And if I'm on the last line, I can also get out of the Twizzar UI, and I can get in again in Twizzar UI if I go up. So it's like you are in the code. You can also, when you are on these lines, for example, I can also use the same shortcut to open this storage here.
Like a step deeper.
Yes.
If I want to configure the dependencies, which is deeper in the dependency tree. I see.
And I can also use escape to close the whole window.
Okay. So in the window, which was open right now,
yes.
If you open the different levels, so this is not the direct dependency, it goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and it builds a dependency tree.
Yes, it does.
And without any code, without to have write any
Yes.
code, you just write in there.
The nice part here is also if I would remove this one and this one here, then I could, now I have closed the window because I pressed escape. I have here this take method. Now it's an ingredient, but I have not configured anything here, up here. But now I could, for example, say I want does this ingredient have the name my ingredient. Press enter, and now it configures everything till to the root of this tree. And yes, this also works.
I see. Yeah, with other mocking frameworks, you have to write. You have to provide a mock for every layer, and then put one mock into the other mock, and at the deepest layer, you have to write the name, my ingredient, and yeah, you have a lot of code which doesn't affect the test directly, so you can do it on the last step.
Yes.
Nice. So if I do it with the UI, and I wouldn't check that much, how short would the test could look like? What's the shortest way that the test is still green?
So if I have a very simple test, so anything I need is our arrangement. This would be this one here. Then probably one act statement to test the service, and then probably one assert, and then we finish.
But in the assert, you don't even have to check like all the parameters
No,
if you don't
you
want
could
to.
remove
You
this
just
one
can say
here.
call.
Yes.
Yeah, I see.
And this one
And
also.
there, it's also nice that you see the part, like the path, which you're testing, and you don't need like this lambda and lambda and lambda and lambda. So it's I mean it's one lambda or one action, but it's one path which directly points to the
For example, in mock queue, I need to read something like send, and then I need to provide all parameters. So I need to write something like it is any, and then again it is any for this one. So you will get a long lambda. And here we can say I don't care about the parameters. I only want to check if the send method was called once, and so I don't need to provide all the parameters if I'm not interested in it.
I see. Yeah, nice. And there was one more question, but I forgot. Maybe it comes back. Yeah. Nice. One more thing. At the destination, you don't even need a custom builder. If it's just like a simple class or dependency which has no configuration at all, you just write item builder and you get a pre-configured destination.
Yes, we could also do some setup here if we want to. We only need the custom builder if we want to store some complicated setup in a separate class, or if you want to use the context, we also need a custom builder.
Yeah, and if I build up a class, not an interface, I not necessarily need a custom builder. Like in the easiest way, all the parameters gets provided by Twizzar with some default value.
Yes. So in this example, we have for the constructor, these are all interfaces. And the default for interfaces, we will stop them away. So we use mock queue to stop them away. But if we have something like an integer, then we will provide it a value that we select. It's semi-random, not completely random, but it's a value that we select where we choose some values that are far away if we use twice integer.
Yeah, and here I mean, we see the constructor and all the constructor parameters, but we also see parameters which are, it looks like private from the class itself.
Yes.
Like from the delivery service
Yes,
class.
I can go to the delivery service. Let me go in there. So we have here, that's these here. They are also read-only.
And does we also can, is it also possible to set them up, or?
Yes, we also can set them up. So we can also set up private members here. That's also possible with Twizzar.
Even if they're not like private, they are not
Yes.
accessible, we can set
Yeah,
them
we
up.
can set them up.
Nice.
The only limitation that we have is we can set them up. They need to be in this solution to set them up. But
yeah, I see. Like we can't reference any Nugget package and say like we want to set the private fields of somewhere.
Yes, but if it's
but this, I mean, this would be some strange case. But so, I mean, that's great. I can set up private members without any line of code, which is crazy,
yes.
I guess. Nice. Cool. So thank you very much. I guess we are at the end. So thank you for everyone who is joining us at the webinar. Download Twizzar, try it out yourself. You can download Twizzar at twizzar.com. You will see it here. It's twizzar.com. You will find everything. You find other videos and all the stuff. And really install Twizzar. It's free until some amount of tests, but in the first version it's free. Just download it and try it out yourself. You can also try it, download it in the Visual Studio Marketplace directly out of Visual Studio. And follow us on LinkedIn, X, on YouTube. On YouTube, there are a few other videos where we show how you can install Twizzar and how you can write your first unit test, and even some advanced topics you can find on YouTube. So check out YouTube, watch the videos, download Twizzar. Thank you to be with us. Thank you, Toby, and have a good day.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.